I'm not going to tell you what we have done. We're just going to go out there and we're going to continue to show you. We've made leaps and bounds since the spring, and we're going to continue to take leaps and bounds. So that's a goal of ours, and we're dead set on proving that. Forget talking about it.
Welcome to the Talkin Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and the Vols are just a few days away from taking on South Carolina inside of Neyland Stadium. There's a lot of confidence surrounding this program right now, and it seems to be an ongoing theme in the comment section. People saying, hey, Boogie, calm down. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't look ahead. This is a trap game against South Carolina. We can't get cocky. We can't get arrogant. And I get what you guys are saying, but the reality of the situation is it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Indy Kid or Dauber says. It doesn't matter what fans are putting out on Twitter. All that matters is that Josh Heupel and this football team are dialed in on South Carolina. They opened up, I think, depending on what website you look at, Tennessee is favored by anywhere from 10 to 12 points. But all that matters is that Josh Heupel and this team stays focused. We're going to take a look at an article about how Josh Heupel keeps his football team dialed in. But as always, guys, do me a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. If you would so kindly press that thumbs up, helps the channel, helps us grow, helps get more eyes on what we are doing here on the Talkin Vols Network. So we would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop new content. We will be live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, just as we are every single Tuesday night. So I hope you'll join us for that. And then also we'll be live Saturday immediately following the game. But let's go ahead and jump into this article. It's from A to Z Sports, written by Zach Reagan. Says how Josh Heupel is keeping the Tennessee Vols grounded after a big win against Missouri. And I think we're all still celebrating that win. It's nice to sit back on game day on Saturday, watch Tennessee just go out and put a beating on somebody, especially when it's an SEC conference opponent. Nice, relaxing Saturday watching Tennessee take care of business. But the article here says the Tennessee Vols are at a pivotal point in Josh Heupel's first season leading the program. He inherited a mess at UT thanks to former Vols head coach Jeremy Pruitt and a lengthy recruiting investigation that's still going on. It says, thanks to the mess, Heupel isn't facing enormous expectations in year one, but fans still want to see results. Tennessee fans have grown accustomed to making excuses for first-year Vol head coaches. Depth is always an issue, so is talent. Fans are ready to see a new head coach overcome those challenges and exceed expectations in year one. Heupel has a chance to be that coach. That's something else a lot of people talking about in the comment section is expectations and how expectations shift and change. And that's the emotion of college football. I still am dialed in on 6 wins. That's where I was at before the season. That's where I'm at now. I think that's where you got to be balanced, at going into the season. A lot of people out there getting excited, and I was too. I was excited about the change, across the board with the coaching staff. I was excited about some of the guys that they brought in through the transfer portal, but you also have to be realistic and balanced. I never really felt, could Tennessee have won 9 games this year? Sure. If things had gone perfectly, they could have won 9 games. They still could win 9 games. That's why you go out and play on Saturdays. But the realistic expectation has been and will continue to be 6 wins for me. But I've been there, done that, as Zach Reagan says here in the article, making excuses for first-year head coaches. Sometimes it starts to leak into year 2, year 3. You want these guys to succeed, and that's why we make those excuses when a new coach comes in. But it's also the reality of the situation. Depth is a problem. It is a concern with this football team. Article goes on to say this week's game against South Carolina will be a key reason why Heupel does or doesn't exceed those expectations. Maybe he doesn't exceed. Maybe he just meets. I think this South Carolina game is key for Josh Heupel to meet those expectations, but we'll take it a week at a time. Tennessee goes out, takes care of business on Saturday against South Carolina. Then that focus shifts to Ole Miss. That's always your mindset. The most important game is the one that's next on the schedule. I see Josh Heupel say that a lot. Says here Tennessee has some momentum after boat racing Missouri last Saturday, beating the Tigers 62-24 in Columbia. As a result of the win against Mizzou, the Vols open as a 12.5-point favorite over South Carolina. It's safe to say that most folks are expecting the Vols to win convincingly against the Gamecocks in Knoxville on Saturday. However, this is college football we're talking about. We've all learned by now to expect the unexpected, and then they reference here Kentucky beating Florida. Again, that's why you play the games on Saturday. Anybody can beat anybody, and that's why when you say there's no chance Tennessee can win 9 games, there's always a chance. That's why you play the game. It says for the most part, any team in the SEC can beat any other team outside of Alabama and Georgia and Vanderbilt on any given Saturday. Tennessee should beat South Carolina, but Tennessee is also more than capable of losing to South Carolina. It's extremely important that UT's players don't read their own press this week. They have to treat the game against the Gamecocks as a brand new season. Vols have to pretend like last week against Missouri never happened. You know, that's the thing, again, when these players are trying to find balance. You got to put last week behind you. Go back to last season. What happened? Halftime, Georgia game. What happened? What happened in that locker room, and how did the team respond moving forward? You know, we talked a lot about moral victories after that Florida loss, 38-14. That's a beating. That's a beatdown. Tennessee did nothing in the second half. How did they respond? How did they come back after that loss? Well, they put an absolute beatdown on Missouri. I would think that they put that Florida game behind them. And if you can do it after a tough loss, you can also do it after a big win. I feel like Josh Heupel understands how to keep his team focused. Goes on to give a quote here from Josh Heupel. He says, college football is a game of 12 weeks, but it's a 1-week season every single week, said Heupel on Monday. Talk to the football team about that. If you try to compare and contrast scores from week to week, none of it's going to make any sense, man. It's about your same competitive spirit, competitive composure. When you get out there, it's about your process leading up to kickoff. You know, that sounds like a whole lot of coach speak. But if you can get players to buy in and believe what you're telling them, then you're going to see positive outcomes. You're going to see positive results. Again, I like the way this football team bounced back after a tough loss to Florida. That it's a 1-week season every single week almost sounds like something Butch Jones would say. But again, going back to the point I made earlier, it's true. Last week's game against Missouri, biggest game of the season. If you want to get to 6 wins, that Missouri game was the biggest game on the schedule. The second the clock hit 0, guess what? South Carolina, most important game on the schedule. You go take care of business against South Carolina inside of Neyland Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Guess what? The Ole Miss game quickly becomes the most important game on the schedule. You put it together week after week. The article goes on to say Heupel doesn't want his players paying attention to any outside noise, regardless of whether it's positive or negative. Heupel says here they pay attention to outside noise, positive or negative. They're letting circumstances control who they are on a daily basis that have no bearing on what's going to happen in a competitive environment. For your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your dog, right? They get to talk about what happened the previous week. As a competitor, though, the tough thing and the great thing is that when you come back in the building, man, it's on to the next one. And the only thing that matters is the next one. He says, we're only as good as we are next Saturday, 12 o'clock against South Carolina. I think our kids are buying into that. Again, buying in. It doesn't matter if it sounds like coach speak. Doesn't matter if it sounds like Butch Jones being a used car salesman. If Josh Heupel gets these kids to buy in and believe what he's selling, then we're going to see positive results on the field. The article goes on to say the matchup against South Carolina has all the makings of a trap game for Tennessee. Noon game, big home favorite, possibly looking ahead to Saturday night home matchup with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss on October the 16th. That's already been announced. It is going to be a night game, 7:30 kickoff against Ole Miss. Going to be interesting to see. Conveniently, the UT shop puts out the black jerseys once again today. Nike has had them holding on to those for a while. They come out this week. Are we going to see all black on Saturday against South Carolina, or do you think they save those for Ole Miss? Excuse me. Close up the article here. It says Heupel, though, is doing his best to make sure his players are keeping their focus on the task at hand. the only task that matters, beating South Carolina. You guys leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this. We get a lot of stuff, a lot of times saying that we're impacting the program when we get on here with a negative attitude or a negative mindset. Something that we take pride in this on this channel is giving our true opinion. I don't care if it's negative. I don't care if it's positive. Indy Kid, Dauber, same way. We're going to give you our opinion, a fan's perspective. Doesn't mean our opinion is right, but we're always going to stay true to what we believe, whether it's positive or negative. Some people say that impacts the program. No, what impacts the program if the players let media or a fan channel on YouTube impact their preparation. That's not on me. That's not on you. That's not on some average Joe on Twitter. That's on the players. That's why, again, going back to my point when we open this thing up, all that matters is Josh Heupel, his coaching staff, and those players. If they buy in, if they believe, nothing else matters. I truly think they go take care of business against South Carolina, and then we'll see what happens against Ole Miss when Old Lane comes back to town. I think the environment will be nasty inside of Neyland Stadium. But like I said, hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Make sure you check out all the Talkin' Vols merchandise. The link to that will be in the description below as well. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. This is the Talkin' Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Hope to see you guys tonight, 8 p.m. for Talkin' Vols Live. Last thing I have to say is go Big Orange.
The Vols howl.